Scott Kerr from Five Iron Frenzy wrote a lot of songs because he says he can put pants on one leg at a time and write an awesome song. And he did say that. And it is true. So he can write awesome songs for Five Iron or Yellow Second. And then he was writing some songs that weren't, I mean, they were kind of vague. They could go a lot of different ways, right? And so one day I'd heard those songs before on a Google Drive and hadn't thought much about it. They were going to maybe be Five Iron songs. But like I said, he's pretty prolific. So I was going through some in my phone and I started singing like melodies over them, right? And so I kept singing them and then I got kind of ballsy and I thought, why don't I text one to Scott? And he works, on the computer. So immediately he responded and was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. And then I kept doing it. And by the end of the day, I think I started texting him at about 11 a.m. By 5 p.m., he goes, you can kind of sing. Why don't you come over and we can try this out? And at that point, it wasn't a band, it was just songs.
Mhm.
So then we kept going. And about a week later, he's like, yeah, I think this is awesome. I would love to record it. And because he's always loved female fronted bands. And
Sure.
and he's like, do you want to do a band? And I was like, yeah, that sounds awesome. And he's like, so I got excited. And then what happens to me that's happened in every band I've been in is I get excited and I'm all about this band. And then one of the band members calls me and says, without your permission, I invited someone else, which is fine.
Uh,
It was Matt Langston. I know, I don't know him, but Scott was like, well, this guy writes this kind of music, like electronic music. And I love writing songs with him, Scott said. So can we add him? And I'm like, awesome. And then he's like, oh, and he doesn't live in this state. And I'm like, we already have that issue, dude. But anyway, it worked out. And then Andy, okay, so because I'm embarrassing and I'm one of those people like Moira that always watches their own trailer over and over and over and has everybody do it. So I kept listening to, like before 5 hour band practice, I'd be like, Micah, you got a good speaker system. Let's jam or it wasn't the fast band. Let's jam me and Scott's new band. Mike was already sick of hearing it. He could care less. Like he thought it was okay. But Andy was like, dude, I want to be in this band. And then we looked at Brad and we were like, we don't really have a place for you, dude, but you're awesome. So that was that. Andy played and added his drums, and Andy came up with the name and he's pretty hyper. I won't diagnose him, but he's hyper. And he said when he was a kid, the world would spin and it felt like the fast feeling.
Mm,
Oh,
nice.
sweet.
So
Nice.
I dig that.
that's how that came.